Assalamualaikum everyone. So we are going to uh, actually start a new topic, but it is from the same chapter, which is chapter 11. So you know, and this chapter is the last thing which we discussed in this chapter was spot speed, and today we are going to discuss travel time and delay studies. Okay, so these are topics from the same chapter, which is chapter 11. Now we have discussed about travel time for speed as well, right? That some of you must have taken a speed or calculated speed for your term project submission using travel time, right? So you noted the time of the vehicle to cross the part of the road which you have selected, and then you measure the speed, okay? But that will not be called as a travel time study. The one which you have performed for your project will not be called as a travel time study because of the length. Now remember I told you, and I hope you have fulfilled that condition as well, that spot speed studies, if you have to do it using time, distance upon time, then you will select a distance, a short distance. So we can still call it a spot speed. Okay, so so for example, you have done spot speed studies using distance upon time, and you have 100 values for time of the cars to cross your segment. You will not call it travel time. You will not call it travel time, or you will not call it travel time studies. Why? We will not, obviously you can call it travel time, but we will not call that study as a travel time study. Why? Because travel time studies are done for significant length of the segment. Okay, so either you have, if you sometimes you are doing it for one highway, so it can include the whole highway from start to end, so it will be in kilometers. Uh, uh, or it can be one segment of the highway, but it still be large. It will be large. Okay, so for example, you may be doing for 2 or 3 kilometers. Okay, something like this. I think you get my point. 2 or 3 kilometers. So you know, what was I saying? So the for a travel time study, the requirement is that you should be doing it for a significant length of the highway, the significant length of the road. That length of the road can be a whole segment, okay, which will still be a large segment, a long segment. It can be a route as well. Okay, so route can mean all the highways and streets which come between your origin and your destination. So your origin is point A, your destination is point B. So between these 2 points, you may not have one highway. You may have multiple highway. You may have multiple highways and streets. So you go to go from point A to B, you will pass through all the streets and highways, and you will note down the travel time. So it can be for a whole route as well, including multiple highways. It can be for a segment of the highway as well. It can be for one particular highway as well from start to end. Okay, but in any case, the length cannot be like I told you for a spot speed. It should be less than 1,000 feet, right? Meaning 300 meters, less than 300 meters. Work for travel time studies. Okay, it should be more than that. It should be usually in kilometers or miles or something like that. Okay. Travel time, sorry, delay is a part of travel time. So whenever you are doing travel time studies, you can coordinate with your observers to note down the delay as well. Okay, so because whenever you are measuring travel time, so delay is already included. Okay, so if I say I took 10 minutes to go from this point to this point, in that 10 minutes I must have been delayed because of traffic, because of signal, because of accident, because of anything. So that 10 minutes includes my delay as well. Now, whether you want to note down or observe this delay, this is what you have to coordinate. Okay, you can tell the observer, okay, you need to note down the delay as well. So he will note down the delay for you. Okay. Now, what are the purposes of doing travel time studies? What are the applications? These are some of the points written here. So one of the application is to identify problem locations. What are problem locations? For a driver, the problem location is where you will have Where you are facing delay, so where you're facing delay, your travel time will be what? Higher. Okay, so the locations or the segments of the highway which have higher travel time are problem locations. So you can identify, obviously, if you know the travel time on these on all sections of the highway, you can find out which sections are problem locations. You can measure the LOS for arterials. LOS meaning, I think I've used this term before. LOS means level of service. Level of service. Okay, and this is the quality of flow on the highway. Okay, so when quality of flow is good, that means cars are moving without any disturbance and they are moving smoothly at high speed. What will the travel time? Travel time will be less. So LOS and travel time are, you can say, inversely proportional, right? Inversely proportional. So wherever you have more travel time, that means LOS is low and vice versa. Travel time acts as an input for traffic assignment model. First of all, what is traffic assignment? Traffic assignment is the assignment of trips to different highways which are going towards the same destination. So you have one point, okay, one point on the map, or you have one area on the map. On towards that area, you have 2 or 3 highways from which the travelers can select. Okay, now the travelers will select which highway to go to into that area on the basis of what? On the basis of their travel time. So their selection procedure is known as traffic assignment. Okay, so when you are assigning the trips to different highways, how many travelers will go by highway A, how many will go by highway B, and so on. This is what we call as traffic assignment. Okay, so when you are predicting how many travelers will go from specific highways, this is what we call as traffic assignment model. And since the travelers are making the decision about their assignment on the basis of travel time, so travel time is put as an input into the model, and the model will give you how many or this type of travel will go by which highway. Okay, so traffic assignment model is the model which can predict the number of travelers for specific highways going towards the same destination. Then we have the other application of travel time study is to provide data for economic evaluation. Now, economic evaluation means what? You compare between costs and benefits. Now, if I ask you what are the cost of roads, you will say construction cost, maintenance cost, cost of lighting, cost of people working on their paints and so on. So calculating cost is very easy. Okay, or you can calculate some aspect of the cost. What about the benefit? Nobody pays you money to travel on the highway, right? The traffic authority, the Ministry of Transportation, the government, everybody is what? Taking money from you. You want to travel and they want to take money from you. So, it's, win-win situation, right? But benefits can be calculated in terms of travel time. How? For example, you say, I am calculating benefit for Sheikh Salman Highway. Okay. Sheikh Salman, if I take Sheikh Salman Highway out, if I block this highway, if this highway is not available, then how much extra travel time the travelers will have to consume for their trips? That will become a benefit of the highway. Okay. The saved travel time for a highway becomes the benefit for economic evaluation. Okay, and we talked about this in the highway course as well. In chapter 2, there were some examples as well about value of time. So if I know your time, I can calculate how much it is worth to you in terms of money. Okay, so my time, maybe 1 minute from my time is equal to 100 fils. If I'm a big CEO or a big the owner of a big company, then 1 minute of my time may be equal to 500 fils, and so on. So if you know that, basically, if you know how much time you are saving for me, you can calculate, you can convert in terms of money as well. Okay, so one of the benefits of the highways, which are calculated for cost evaluation or for economic evaluation, is the saving in travel time. Okay. Then you can use travel time studies to develop time contour maps. Now, what are contour maps? You have studied in surveying. Let me say you have studied and forgotten it in surveying. So contour map is the map in which you show what? The lines representing points of same elevation, right? These are contour maps, right? The maps which show lines representing points of same elevation. Then what are time contour maps? The definition is same, but instead of same elevation, we say same travel time. So in a time contour map, there are lines which represent points having same travel time from a central location. So like in a contour map, in a surveying or elevation contour map, you have a center, the origin, the datum. Similarly, in a time contour map, you have the center of the map, and from that center, you draw lines, and each line represents points which are having same distance, same travel time from that location. And later on I will show you with an example, and then I will further explain the uses of travel time contour map. Okay, but this is what we mean by time contour map, a map which represents line showing the points of same travel time from central location. Okay. Now, what are the techniques for doing travel time studies? One of them is test car technique. In a test car technique, you employ a car with a driver, and with the driver there will be an observer. The driver obviously will drive the car as you want him. So you will tell him you have to drive on this segment, and you have to drive like this and this and so on. Okay, and the observer will record the time. Okay, the observer will record basically three things. First of all, total travel time. So he will have a stopwatch. He will start it. He will start the watch when the observation is started. So when the car starts to move from the first point of the segment, the observer will start the first watch. Okay. And on that watch, he will note down the time when the car passes each key location on the segment. So you have a whole segment which is, let's say, 5 kilometers. Within this 5 kilometers, you have 2 or 3 intersections or 2 or 3 key locations, important locations. So you want to know how much time the car takes to go from the starting point to each of these locations. So maybe there's a mall there, there's a hospital there. Okay, between within the segment. Okay, so it's not the end point only. You can have key locations before the end point as well. So whenever a car crosses a key location, the observer will record the time from the start point to that key location. Okay. Second thing he will record is the stopped delay, for how much time the car was stopped. So he will have a second stopwatch. So whenever the car stops, he will start that watch, the second one, and he will note down the time when the car starts moving again. So he will have the second observation, which is stop delay. So the first observation was travel time, which is from start point to each key location and till the end. Okay, and then second observation is stop delay. Car stops, the observer will record for how much time was it stopped. Third thing is causes of delay. Okay, so whenever the car stops, he can also note down what was the cause of the stopping at that location. Okay, so these are three things noted down by the observer. So you need in each car one driver, one observer, and you need a couple of stopwatches and paper and pen. Okay. If you don't want to use the observers, you can equip your car, so you can install with your car some automatic devices for measuring distances and speed and the time. Okay, so whenever the car stops, you have some device which can automatically start recording the time. Okay, and you can, for total travel time is not so difficult. You can just start the stopwatch, put it in the car, and the car is moving. When you reach the end, you just note down the time. Okay, but you can have automatic devices which are noting down the time and the speed and the distance, everything automatically. Okay, you can install it in the car, and then maybe you don't need the observer, but you can, you see, having an observer recording all these things is easy. You just need stopwatch, pen and paper. Putting the devices within the car will be difficult. Okay, in Belgium, I was there last year. So there's the Institute of Mobility there, and in that research institute, they were preparing cars. So I just looked at one car, and it wasn't looking like a car, because they installed so many devices with the car. The car has the same purpose. They wanted to track it for the time and distance and everything. Okay, so it wasn't looking like a car. So you can imagine how much time and effort will be required to do it for a number of cars. Okay. Now test car technique can be applied in 3 different methods. Okay. Apply it as a floating car or maximum car or average car. So these are 3 methods for test car techniques. Test car technique has 3 different methods. Floating car method is applied on a 2-lane highway to find out the average speed or the average travel time. Floating car technique is applied on a 2-lane highway to find out average speed or average travel time. So in a floating car technique, you ask the driver to drive on a particular lane. So 2-lane means what? 1 lane in each direction. Okay, so he has to drive in his lane. So you ask him to drive in a particular direction, so he will be in a specific lane, and you ask him that he should maintain his position in the traffic flow, meaning if there are 3 of him, so he is the 4th one, right? 3 cars in front, so from the start till the end he should be the 4th one. Okay, so he cannot become the 2nd one or the 3rd one, meaning he cannot overtake any car, and he cannot become the 5th one or the 6th one as well, meaning no car should overtake him as well. Now this is difficult, right? How can you stop the other drivers? Huh? For that you have to be a minister or from someone from the royal family to stop the other drivers overtaking. Then obviously nobody would overtake you. In that case, nobody will be near you. But in normal cases, you cannot stop the other drivers to overtake you. So other drivers will overtake you. What should you do in that condition? So you can stop the driver who is taking the observation from overtaking other cars, but other cars are overtaking him. So still his position in the traffic stream is disturbed. He's getting back and back. So in that case, you allow the driver to overtake the same number of vehicles which have overtaken him. Now remember, I'm saying overtake the same number of vehicles, not the same vehicles. So somebody overtook you, he was in a hurry, maybe he's going to the hospital, he is driving at 120 kilometers per hour. So after he overtook you, he overtook 2-3 other cars, and in the blink of an eye, he is past the segment. Now you will not go after him, okay? You don't have to go after him, okay? Whoever is the slowest in that traffic stream, you overtake that car, and that's it. You are in your position now. That's it. You don't have to go and chase him. This is not a video game, okay? You don't have to take revenge or something. You will end up at his house and you will end up getting a beating. Okay. So just if one car overtakes you, whenever it is safe for you before the end of the segment, still you have time. So before the end of the segment, whenever you have time, you overtake one vehicle. 2 vehicles overtake you. Whenever you have the time, you overtake 2 vehicles, obviously one by one. So now you have the time to overtake one vehicle, you overtake one vehicle, okay, and maybe after 2-3 minutes you have the time to overtake another vehicle, you overtake another vehicle, okay. Now what happens if you don't have the chance to overtake other vehicles while others have overtaken you? In that case, you cancel out this observation and you go back to the starting point. Okay, so there is no big issue here. You will lose some time and fuel, and this happens. Okay, in any traffic survey, this happens. Okay, so if you cannot maintain your position and you feel that you are at the end of your segment and there is no chance you can go back to your position, then you go back to the starting point. You take a U-turn or turn towards the starting point and start the observation again. This is the only thing. Okay, so the only thing is you will lose some time and fuel. Okay. So why we are doing that? Because we want to measure the travel time of specific direction. So if you keep on overtaking from the other side, your travel time will be obviously lower. Okay, so that's why we don't want the driver to overtake. We want normal average travel time. So normal average travel time is when you maintain your own lane and you keep on going. Okay, and so this can only happen and if you are not too fast. So in order to be too fast, what you have to do, you have to overtake from the other lane. Okay, and you cannot be too slow as well. So too slow means what? Now everybody will be overtaking you. Okay, so normal travel time means you will just maintain your position. Okay, then we have maximum car technique, which is applied for finding out 85th percentile speed. Now what is a percentile? I already gave the definition earlier. It is the maximum limit for a specific percentage of driver population. So when we say 85th percentile, that means the maximum limit for 85% drivers. So for maximum car technique, if you find out the speed as 100 kilometers per hour, you will take it as the speed for 85% drivers, the maximum speed, meaning 85% drivers are driving at or below 100 kilometers per hour. 85% drivers are driving at or below 100 kilometers per hour. Okay. Again, this is not from any calculation. If you perform the maximum car method, you got the speed. This is by default 85th percentile. So you don't have to draw the graph and so on, like we did for spot speed. Okay, there are no graphs and no calculations there. Just you do the method, and whatever speed you get, just 85th percentile. Now, why we call it maximum car technique? Because we want the driver to drive at maximum speed under the speed limit. Under the speed limit. Okay. So you want him to drive as fast as possible, but still be under the speed limit. So there is no fun here. There's no fun, no thrill here, right? You are still under the speed limit. Okay. So obviously, speed limit is related to safety and regulations. So you cannot ask a driver to ignore these things. Okay. So you want him to drive maximum at maximum speed as possible. So he has to overtake as many cars as he can, being in the safest speed limit. Okay, if possible, he can overtake other cars. Okay, or he should try to overtake other cars. This is what he is saying. Okay, so maximum car technique is to find out the 85th percentile speed, and you want the driver to drive as fast as possible. And we have average car technique. In average car technique, you ask a driver to find. So in average car technique, you are trying to find out average normal travel time for multi-lane highways. For floating car was for 2-lane highways. Average car is for multi-lane highways, and maximum car is for any type of highway. Okay, so average car technique, you are trying to find out average speed or average travel time on a multi-lane highway. So you ask the driver. So there is no restriction for the driver now. Okay, he will drive normally, like he will completely forget that there is some observation going on. Okay, he will drive like he is driving on routine basis to his house or to his office. Okay. So whatever he thinks is a suitable speed, he can drive on that. If he feels I should go to the other lane, so it's a multi-lane highway, right? So he is still in the same direction. If he wants to change the lanes, he can. If he wants to overtake another car, he can. If he wants to just drive and let the other cars overtake him, it is still fine. Okay, so there are no special instructions for average car technique. Now, like I said, we are still in the same chapter. So you have seen for spot speed studies, we did not take one observation. We had multiple observations, and then we were calculating mean and standard deviation and so on. So all these equations also apply to travel time studies as well. So we still have to calculate mean and standard deviation and so on, and we still need more than one value. Okay, and usually these values are 50, 60, 100, 200, something like this. So if you are applying test car technique, you want, let's say, 50 observations. Okay, I'm taking a very low number, 50 observations, let's say. Now for 50 observations, you should have 50 test cars. Okay. So you you have 50 test cars with observers and drivers. So you will have 100 people, 50 test cars. You allow them to drive. At the same time, you get all the observations, right? Now there are two for example, you are measuring a segment which only requires like 10-15 minutes to drive. So in 10-15 minutes you will be finished. Okay, but what is the problem here? You have to arrange 50 cars and 100 people. This is the first problem, right? Even if you go to major showrooms, you will not find 50 cars in there. Okay, even major showrooms, you don't have 50 cars, sitting right there. Okay, and obviously they will not allow you to drive it for your studies. So arranging 50 cars, 100 drivers is the problem. Okay, now you say, and like we have done when I was in Saudi Arabia, we did a research project like that, and we asked the students to come and volunteer for the study, and many of them came. They were not 50, but they were still a sufficient number. Okay, now let's say you ask all your friends, you are a Facebook or social media celebrity, and whenever you say come, people come for you. Okay, so people come for you, and you ask them to to come for this study. So when you are making this study and let's say you arrange 50 cars. Now these 50 cars are extra cars. These are all test cars. So they are not part of the routine traffic, the regular daily traffic on that highway. They are not part of that. So what will happen in that case? These 50 cars are causing extra congestion. Okay, so these extra 50 cars will slow down everybody else as well and themselves as well. They are slowing down everybody who is already on the highway and also themselves. So the travel time which you will get will be higher than the routine value, the regular value. So the observations are not accurate. Okay, so you have to limit the number of test cars which you can employ simultaneously on the road. Okay, so obviously if you need 50 observations, now to control the congestion on the highway, you say I will employ just 5 cars. So 5 cars means each car has to repeat the observation 10 times, right? So it will take more time. Each car has to do it repetitively, so you will take more time. Okay, so it will cause you more time, but it will be more accurate, and you don't have to arrange for so many cars and so many people. So they have given some guidelines here. Up is good enough for any highway for any time. Up to 10 vehicles will not increase the travel time by much. Okay, so 6 to 10 is a preferable range. Obviously, you don't want to go very low as well, because then you have to do more repetitions. It will take more longer time. So between 6 to 10 is an optimum range. And if you are doing on major highways in peak hours, then you can go up to 50 as well. Okay, so peak hour means the highway is already congested, already has thousands of vehicles passing, and it's a major highway, so there are 3-4 lanes here. Okay, so on a major highway in peak hours, 50 cars will be a very small percentage of the existing traffic. Okay, because major highways in peak hours have, like I said, thousands of cars. So compared to 1,050 is nothing. Okay, but 50 is a very special case, like I said, for major highways in peak hours. For all the cases, limit yourself up to 10. Okay. Another technique for measuring travel time is the license plate method. In license plate technique, you have 2 observers, one at the start of the segment, one at the end of the segment. Both observers are recording travel time. No, not the travel time. They are recording the license plate number of the car and the time at which the car has been observed. The time at which the car has passed the observer. So, for example, observer number 1 records the license plate number XYZ. I'm just giving an example. Okay, XYZ. You don't ask me how we can find the car with this license plate number. Okay, you cannot find it. I'm just giving an example. So he recorded XYZ car passed me at 12:05, 5 minutes past 12. The other observer, who is at the other end, recorded the same car at 12:12. So not 12:12, 12:12, meaning 12 minutes past 12. So when you match the license plate number from observer 1 and observer 2, you find the starting time and the ending time. Okay, so the starting time was 12:05, the ending time is 12:12, so the travel time is 7 minutes. Okay, and obviously you can make it more precise by taking the observation in the seconds as well. So you have a watch which shows the time in seconds as well. You can record the time up to seconds. Okay, and then the other observer will do the same thing, and you will have more precise observations. Do you have any questions? Not here. Abdullah cannot access. Okay, so going back, so what is the benefit of license plate technique? The benefits are you need less resources, you need less people, you don't need any cars. Okay, even with 2 observers you can have all the data. You only need 2 observers with pen and paper and you have the data. Okay, What is the disadvantages? The disadvantages are, first of all, in test card technique, the observer is recording, if you remember, three things. He is not just recording total travel time. He is recording travel time from the starting point to each key location as well. So you can have travel time in intervals in for each important location, for each important, for different parts of the segment. So this cannot happen with license plate technique because you just have the start and the end time. So you can only have total travel time. Secondly, you cannot have delay and the causes of delay because you are not following the car. You are not in the car. Okay. So when the car reaches the end point, it may have stopped for 10 times. You don't know. Nobody was observing it during the or within the segment. You just observe it at the start and you observe it at the end. So delay observations, the reasons of delay cannot be observed, and the travel time for intermediate segments cannot be observed with license plate technique as well. Second problem is the sample size. Now, for example, you need 50 observations. Okay. Now, if both the observers, record 50 values, they observe 50 vehicles. Will it be enough if you need 50 observations? Will it be enough if both observers just record 50 values? It will not be enough. Okay, why? Because the values may not match. When you are recording the license plate number, the vehicles are passing, right? So when you are recording one vehicle, other vehicles have passed as well. You do not record them. Obviously, it is not possible to record all the vehicles. Okay, so you are missing some vehicles. The other observer is also missing some vehicles as well. There's a chance that the vehicle which you have recorded is missed by the other observer. So in that case, for that vehicle, you will not have any data. So in the end, you may have 50 values, the other observer has 50 values, and none of them are matching. Okay. Now remember, we are talking about travel time studies, and travel time studies are done for longer lengths of the road. So you cannot coordinate. You cannot tell the other driver, I'm observing this red car. I've recorded this red car. Okay, or this black car or blue car, record this. No, you cannot. You don't have any observation here. You don't have any communication here. The other observer is 5 kilometers away from you. Okay, so because of the mismatching of the data, lots of samples which you have recorded will go to waste. Okay, they have given an example. For example, if you can record 50% of the data, 50% is a very high value. That means you are just missing one car. Out of every two, you are recording every car. You are recording one car. This is a very high observation, a high percentage. For most of us, it's not possible. Even if you record 20-30%, it is considered very good. Okay, so for example, if you record 50% and the other observer records 50%, what is the chance that all your observations will meet? Maybe you have recorded 50% and the other observer has recorded exactly the opposite 50%. So there's a 0% chance as well. There's a chance that you will have 0 observations matching. Okay, but just to call it statistically, so you have recorded 50% observation, the other one recorded 50% observation. The chances for you for your matching are 15 to 50, which is 25% only. Okay, so only even if you are recording 50% of all the cars, you have only 1/4 chance of matching them. Okay, so you may come up with thousands of observations, and in the end you find then the matching ones are only like 100. Okay, so in order to fulfill sample size, you will not know how much sample size you have collected until you come back to the office, and at that time you may find that most of your samples are wasted because it has not been observed by the other observer. Okay. By this time, all of you should be, experts in Teams and Blackboard and so on. Like you become experts in Facebook and Instagram and so on. You should should be becoming experts in these things as well. You don't have to tell me, doctor, what is happening. Anyways, other field study techniques for travel time include observation from a vantage point. What is a vantage point? Vantage point is a point of high elevation from which you can see the whole field. It's a military term, so they say the whole field. For us, the whole field is the whole segment. So you have one observer who is so high that he can see the whole segment of the highway from start to end. So whenever a car enters, he will start the stopwatch, okay, and he can see the car leaving the segment as well, and he will do it, and he will keep on observing it till the end, and you the observer will record the total travel time when the car leaves the segment. Okay, in that case, he can also use two stopwatches to find out the stop, delay, and so on. Okay, so you can do it from a vantage point. Okay, so vantage point is a point of high elevation from which visibility is for the whole segment. So second one I have already talked about. You put some instruments and equipments in your car which can measure the speeds and distances and so on. Okay, so you don't have to record everything manually. It will be done by the devices. Third technique, or the third method, is to videotape the section. So you prepare a video of the whole section. Again, you need a vantage point for that. So on that vantage point, you install a camera. The camera is looking over the whole segment, and you have the video of the whole segment. You come back with the video, and in that video you see from where the so you note down the travel time from the video. Okay, so later on in the video you see the car has entered the section at this time and it has left the section at this time. You have the travel time. Okay, you can see the stop, delay of the car. Okay, with the video, the good thing is if you only took the video for, let's say, 10 minutes. Now from the video you can take the travel time of all the vehicles in 10 minutes. So there is no missing data here, right? So in 10 minutes you may have like 200 observations. If you try to do it manually, it is not possible. Okay, so video you can replay, you can slow down, you can pause, and so the observations can be much easier. But again, you need a point from which the camera can look at the whole segment. This is a sheet, a travel time observation sheet. Okay, so at the start you see the name of the highway, the name of the person who is recording the data, which is the author of the book. This is number of observation. So run number 3 means observation number 3. Now you will see this word in the other examples and questions as well. Run means one travel time observation. Run means one travel time observation. Okay, so if I say I took 3 runs, that doesn't mean I ran 3 times. Okay, it means I took the travel time observation 3 times. Okay, what was the starting location? Okay, so it's milepost 15. What is a milepost? These are the signboards which you have on the side of the road, and they tell you how many kilometers you have traveled on this highway. You must have seen that in Saudi Arabia. If you have driven on Saudi Arabia towards Riyadh, you will see it on the highways, how many kilometers to Riyadh and so on. Okay, so these are mileposts. Okay, so the observation was started from milepost 15. The time, the date and time are given. Okay, then the start location is milepost 15 and the end location is MP22. MP again means milepost. Okay, so this is the end location of my travel time study. Okay, so between milepost 15 and milepost 22 you can see some intermediate points are here as well. So these are the other key locations. So they made each milepost a key location, an intermediate point. Okay, so whenever the car crossed any intermediate point, they recorded the travel time. Okay, and the distance as well. So from 15 to 16 to 17 to 18. So you have the cumulative distance. Cumulative means these values are taken from milepost 15. Okay, and cumulative travel time, which is in minutes and seconds. So 1 minute 35 seconds, 3 minutes 5 seconds. Okay, these are from where? Again, milepost 15. Okay, so these are distances and travel times taken from the starting point. Okay, so what is the total length of the segment? 7 miles. See, what is the total travel time? 12 minutes. Okay, then you have these observations which are taken for each section, so between two key locations. So the first one is from milepost 15 to milepost 16. Okay, I'm talking about these 4 columns now, the last 4 columns. Okay, so the stop delay, number of stops, and travel time for the section is from the previous key location. Okay, so if you're talking about these 3 values, okay, so these values are between milepost 15 and milepost 16. So there is 0 stop delay, so the car was not stopped at all, no stops, and the travel time is 1 minute 35 seconds. Okay, second one is between 16 and 17, between 16 and 17. So again you have 0 stops, so there's no delay for stops, there are no stops, and the travel time is 1 minute 30 seconds. Okay, now you see cumulative was 3 minute 5 seconds because it is from milepost 15. 1 minute 30 seconds from where? From 16 to 17. Okay, from 16 to 17. Okay. So then the next one is 42.6 seconds, which is from 17 to 18. From 17 to 18. Okay, not from 15, 17 to 18. So whenever you cross a key location, you set the stopwatch of the stop delay to 0 again. So when you crossed MP17, your stopwatch which was for measuring stop delay was set to 0. Okay, and then from 17 to 18 you observe 42.6 seconds of delay. Okay, then when you cross 19 you set it to 0 again. Okay, and so on. So from 18 to 19 there was a stop delay of 46 seconds, and this is giving you the number of times the car was stopped. So from 17 to 18 the car was stopped 3 times, from 18 to 19 it was stopped 4 times, and so on. And the delay, the travel time is again taken from here. Okay, the difference. And here you can see why the car was stopped. So from 17 to 18 the car was stopped 3 times because of signals. There are 3 signals, so they are mentioned stopped due to signals. Okay, and then you have other reasons as well. Okay, so this is coming from the observers. Now, as I said, you want total length, this is the last value. You want the total travel time, the last value here. If you want the total stop delay, then you have to add all the values. So on this segment, from milepost 15 to milepost 22, we have 88.6 seconds of delay, which is the summation of all the stop delay values. How many times the car was stopped? 3 plus 4 plus 1, which is 8. Okay, what was the total travel time? You add all these values because this is travel time for each section, right? Travel time for each section. So you add the travel time for all the sections, you get the total travel time from, again, start to end. And obviously it should be the same as the cumulative travel time. Okay, so you have the travel times here. Okay, so this is how you record the values and this is how you read them. And next time we will start with some calculations. Okay, so I am going for the attendance. Dua Rabi. Dua Rabi. Muhammad. Muhammad Usama. Amal Abdullah. Muhammad Numan. Ali Muhammad. Hakima Ali. Zahra Sayyid Ali. Abdullah Jaliluddin, did he join? No. Abdul Rahman Ibrahim. Nujur Salah. Adin Hussam. Zahra Riyad.
Yes, doctor.
Abu Bakr Wani. Zainab Ali Ahmed. Mariam Abdul Amir. Majd Bashar. Asil Hassan. Ali Mustafa. Ahmad Khalid. Abdullah Husamuddin. Latifa Ahmed. Fatma Abdali. Zainab Abdul Al. Ala Salman. Isra Abdul Kareem. Ali Abdul Razak. Elizabeth Ann. Ali Makki. Ibrahim Qadir. Okay, who is left now? Anyone left
Doctor,
from
I'm
this?
from section 1.
Okay, anybody? So everybody done from this section? Ahmad Khalid.
No, doctor, I'm from section 1.
Who is from section 1?
Me, Muhammad Khalid.
No, I'm talking about Hamad Khalid. Hamad. Okay, Hamad, you are done. Okay, anybody from this section left? No, right? So I'm going to section 1 now. If you are done with your attendance, you can leave. Okay, you don't have to stay here. You can leave. Iman, Dana, Iman. Muhammad Khalid is done. Okay. Dana. Okay, Iman, Dana, Muhammad Khalid. Okay, all of you are done.
Doctor Sarah Abdul Amin.
Okay, this is it then. Okay, see you guys tomorrow, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.